How's it going? Welcome back to episode 2 of On the Tools. So I'm at the hangar right now getting ready to shoot another episode, but I wanted to intro this video. So we had a customer who's a repeat customer. They own a trucking company, and they wanted a custom barbecue built. Now they took this barbecue, I'll show you the shell, or they took this barbecue and they approached a different fabrication company to build it. And through delays and miscommunications and everything, they weren't happy with this product. So they brought it to us for me to fix it. So I didn't start filming it right away. I just pulled some shots off my phone and cobbled it together. So anyways, here we go, let's get to it. So I gotta take off the distance of what this is gonna be. So this is gonna sit around here. So I gotta shear it down on the three sides so I can make all the panels on it. So I got the side stacked on, the top's little curved pieces on, the bottom piece is on. So now I gotta flip it up, do some stitches on the inside, tack some more pieces on top, and then I'll start getting ready for the roof. Okay, so I got all the cap pieces, all my little sliver fill pieces are in. So after they're all welded and blended out, may take a little bit of hammering and dollying from the inside, outside, just to get the final look that I'm looking for. So with this, I need a 90-degree cap coming over so I can make a cowl. Once I get the cowl, then I can see where I need the bottom curve pieces to match up. But right now, this is where the 90-degree piece is going to match up. So it starts here. If you look at it dead on, then it matches at 90 degrees. So I just need to elongate that part there. I'll do the same on that side. I'll cut these and then I'll tack these pieces on and bring it back. I got that piece cut out. So when you're looking straight at it, it matches this radius half piece. When you're looking here, it's really elongated. Now I need to put this piece in, hold it up roughly, and then I can transfer that line, zip cut it, and then I should have a miter that's able to weld and blend out. It looks like it's kind of in one piece, even though the top angle and this angle of the radius pieces won't match. I got the cowl pieces on, bottom bevel piece that's going to hold the window. I got my slopes to match, comes out. You can see the laser level here is on center. Now I can cut my window pieces, make a cowl piece, cut that, and then yeah, tack it all together, make sure it's good, and then I'll weld it all up. I went and drew them on our laser program, got them cut out. While that was cutting, started welding up the back sides, getting them ready to grind out. I'm not worried about doing the nicest welds in the world. I just want to give myself an easy time grinding, so I'm trying to put a thinner weld on there that's going to hold as well. So get these guys all tacked up, finish the welding, bring you guys back. All right, so brought in my GoPro today so the camera quality might get a little bit better. So I finished off yesterday, I did a bunch of welding. I got about half of it welded out. I put some channels on the inside and up on the roof just to help keep the bigger panels and the roof flatter, and did a really good job of that. Finish out welding and get to grinding. So let's get to it. Finished welding, and then I went over the whole thing, did a rough grind with just an actual grinding disc. And then I went over, finished about over half of it, and here is kind of what it looks like starting to get smoothed out with 36 grit on a 6-inch grinder. So nice and smooth along the sides. Still got the top to do. I still got this window to do, cowl, this side, and the back is basically done. So let's have a bit of time lapse and I'll finish off this little bit with the sand. Following week, I had to go out on some other jobs and get some other stuff done. So this is just kind of like a little sample of what it's going to look like. I got this edge blended out with this radius. This is mildly cleaned up. That edge is cleaned up. I got some fill pieces to do. So for the fill, because we're not going to use any body filler on this, I'm just going to use silicone bronze, blend it in with the tank, and then it'll sand out real nice and quick. Okay, so I got the second half done. So now I'm going to just do this half and a little bit of touch-ups on the back side of the cab, and then it's all going to be good to go. Up on the frame now, and this is the pellet smoker we're going to be using. So these guys just bought this one. I got to build everything with it, but you can see the hood will go into the actual hopper here. So I'm going to have to do some modification to this frame, cut it, get everything sit down lower, get this basically mounted. I'm probably going to end up coming back into the cowl a little bit just to give myself more room for actual barbecue service area, and then come up with a plan for building the actual tub. And then I got to do all the drip trays and the cover over the flame pot, everything else that goes with it. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of thinking on this, and once I get a plan, I'll bring you guys. Okay, so a little bit of update here. I cut 2 inches off the cowling. I just felt that the way the slope kept coming down here, that it just wouldn't give me enough height that I wanted to work with. So cut 2 inches off the cowling, brought it back, straightened it out, cleaned it up. That went well. Then I had to notch the frame down. You can see in there, I notched about 4 inches of it out, so then I can lower the hopper and everything down. Then I use these little pieces of 1-inch HSS just as kind of points of reference. Got one on each side. And then I got my hood kind of laid out. So this is going to be the grill. Now I just need to transfer my points, point A to point A, point B to point B, and same with the roof. So I need 1, 2, 3 pieces. Once I get them laid out, I'll go cut them on the laser, and then I should be able to start getting more things tacked up. And then I'm gonna need pieces to come underneath all these 3 sides, just so the hood, when it closes, it's got something to sit on, and then these body gaps, they'll all be nice and straight and concentric and good. And then yeah, then I'll have the hood basically done. Once that's done, then I can start making a pivot point for here. And then before I get it all on and welded up, I got to come up with a way to mount the grill and everything like that. So what I think I'll do is I'll start building the actual grill itself, and it's gonna have to come down off of the frame rails. So this whole hopper, I want it to be bolted on. I like it when things are bolted on, because if it's bolted, you can remove it easily if you ever need to work on it. So I'll make the grill too, kind of as I'm making the hood. There's no real plan for this. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go, and that's, a lot of jobs are like that. So bring you back in a little bit after I've done some thinking and some figuring. All right, new day, same project. So this is gonna be a side profile of what the barbecue is actually gonna be like. So I built that little pan, didn't like it, added 6 inches to it to make a bigger grill space, and it's kind of bent in to recess down underneath the frame rails here and hold up that smoker. This is going to be a side plate, so this is kind of what the side profile is going to be. So I got to notch this hole out for the auger. And this is going to be my basic profile. I'll cut these corners off. The grill will be around here. My grease tray will be around here. The heat shroud over top of the flame pot will be somewhere around here. So I'm going to do some zip cutting, going to do some tacking and welding. I got the barbecue itself all welded up and blended up the corners and made it all work. But I'm trying to scavenge every bit of height, because I'm going to need the grill up higher in here. So I need room for briskets, ribs, everything that I could possibly want in here. But I just don't like how close I'm actually sitting to the cowl. So I'm going to pull everything out. I'm going to mount the hopper and get it all drilled and ready to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to notch the frame, and I'm going to lower the whole unit probably about 2 inches, cut that front cap off. What I did this work on, I'm just going to redo the whole front and eliminate this piece altogether and just build something new that's going to work for what I need it to do. It's just, I'm really limited on how much height I actually have. and I have a lot of height that I have to make accommodate. So I'm gonna have to adjust on the fly. So I'm gonna do some of these adjustments and I'll bring you guys back in a couple minutes.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so plates welded in on the top, blended out the welds on the bottom. I had to cut the plate off of the front because everything's gonna drop 3 inches, so it wasn't gonna work. Now I gotta completely build a different one. And I'll incorporate the bumper brackets into that as well. So now I just need to lift this thing up. And it's quite heavy, so let's do that. All right. Everything you got. Everything you got. Right on. I got more clearance around the cowl. I'll get the cab placed back where it goes, and then I can start doing the frame. It's kind of like a framework around the top so the lid can sit in. I wanted to kind of recess the barbecue back underneath just to allow more grill space. And then so I'm gonna have to cap it around here so the lid will open up without interfering with the cowl. So I'll do a little bit of pushing, a little bit of measuring, bring you back in a minute. All right, so now I got this, got parts of the hood laser cut out. So I had to use swing arcs because the bottom measurement and the top measure need to be different. This height and this height are different. So what I did was I took a baseline along the bottom. I think it was like 34.25. My height up here was 21.5. My height over here was 21.75. And I can't remember what the top measurement was right off the top of my head. But I also had to take a measurement from that point down to that point. And then so you use swing arcs to establish your points. So I didn't really bother with measuring any actual angles, but as you can see, the gap is pretty good. Other side fits just like this. So now I need to get the front of the grill tacked on, and then I can get the radius pieces tacked on. And then after those are tacked on, I can measure out the top of the hood because I'm gonna have to do the same thing. It's gonna have to be a measurement like this measurement straight, the back measurement straight, the side measurement straight. But then I'm gonna have to go corner to corner to get my swing points so it actually drops in nicely. So I'll get this tacked up. A 14 gauge stainless, and then I got these guys. I'll just cap the sides. This one's about 1.5 inches. This one's about 7.5. I'll weld it up, blend it out, and bring you back in a couple minutes. Okay, so it's another day, and the clients just dropped off some stuff. I got a tire. What do I want to use? I've got stacks in those boxes. I've got other stack parts for elbows and pieces in those boxes. I have a Y branch, which I stuck in here, so I got to try to make this exhaust out. I have pieces that are broke up, ready to go for the grease traps. So I'm going to use a laser welder and weld those guys up. Got other little angles to go around so I can start planning my grill and all the grease runs. The lid is getting bent up, and then that'll be done. Some hinges will be needed for that. And then, so I'm just trying to close up this part, and I'm gonna move back onto the body. And after the hood's a little better, then I'm gonna move on to the exhaust. And I'm gonna start working on the exhaust. So lots to do. And like always, not enough time to do it. So bring you back in the laser booth. So I got the piece all tacked up. There'll be one solid bead down here. I'll get the laser set up and get to it. There you go. Looks pretty good. Super fast. Minimal heat distortion in it. This is a really incredible tool. If you want to see more about this exact tool and how we use it, then yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. All right, so I got the interior pieces done. So I got the heat shield. This is out of like a 16 gauge stainless, so it should be able to take the heat a lot better. The drip tray. So my pans are going to slope down this way, grease trap, and then hit the grease trays, and then exit out the box here. I got the shelf around the top here, so this will hold the actual grill. And then my grease trap is going to come out of here. This is going to get trimmed down a little bit, and then I'm going to make a little custom bucket or a grease trap that sits somewhere around here so it can all be cleaned out nice and easily. Now I gotta get back onto the hood. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff up and get the hood sitting on here, get everything actually square in here this time, nice and level. And then I'm going to weld in my radiuses and then get the get the hood all done. And then I can start making a new bracket that comes off and have it pivot here. Gas shocks, because the hood's gonna be pretty heavy. And then they even dropped off some fenders for me to work with, and then same with those tires. So lots to do on the hood now, so hopefully I get that done real quick and bring you guys back in a little bit once I got everything set up. Okay, so a little update here. I got the hood placed, got it shimmed up, I got it clamped as nice and straight as it can be. I tried to square it up as best as I can, but I got to build a bracket for the front of the frame, and I got to start building my hinge mounts. So I'm going to go to the laser and start drawing those out so they can get cut out a quarter. On these radiuses here on the hood while my pieces are getting cut on the laser table. So here's one that I welded and blended together. This one, it started like this, and yeah, do the same to this one now. So I've been gone for about 2 weeks on holidays, so trying to remember where I was. And before I left, I laid out my hinges. Got these guys all laid out. And I got one just sitting up here, right there. So a little support bracket off the front of the frame to keep everything nice and square again. And then the bracket, and this is just fit in there right now, just kind of pressure fit. But I think I did a pretty good job measuring everything up, that it actually just kind of holds itself in there. So I'll get this tacked in, then I'll get this one reassembled. And you just, when you do a hinge like this, You want to do a washer in the middle so you don't get any binding. And then when I actually lock it down, I'll use nylocks and I'll tighten them up and I'll back it off like a quarter turn. With a nylock, you can set your pressure on how tight or loose you want it, and then it won't back off when it opens and closes, as opposed to like a normal style nut and a lock washer. So I'll get these guys tacked in, and then I'll get the hood all tacked together and then see how it opens and closes. And if that works well, then I'll weld it out, and then the hood will be done. Dish in there that I'm going to have to massage out and maybe put a hatch handle underneath, but I'll get that out. But what I did was I just stitched along and then I cooled with a air wand. So stitch, cool, bounce around as much as I can, try to mitigate as much warp as I can. But if you have that flat of a sheet for that amount of distance, it's going to warp on you. So what I have to do next on the hood is I'm going to blend all these welds out, and just like that, blend it out. So I still got a couple little more things to do, a couple little small holes like that. Can you see? Focus, focus. Trust me, there's a little pinhole there and it bugs me. So I'll clean that up. I'll stitch the inside and get that little bit of a bow out first thing tomorrow morning. But that's it for tonight. See you tomorrow. Okay, so next day, got a little bit of progress. Yeah, still a little warm, but it's not hot. So this is the little sub-axle that the customer supplied for me, and I just had to be able to make it turn. So I drew up a little bracket system here on the laser, and then grabbed a shoulder bolt. So I just welded these tabs to the stub here. Shoulder bolt goes up through there, it's welded on the bottom, and then the tie rod end will connect right there. And then my theory is it should turn. This one's welded up on the bottom. Let's weld up. Spindles are all done. I did these the other day. Welded up as much as I could. Should be good and strong. Whenever you're doing steering parts or anything on a vehicle, you always want to make sure that you make them the same but mirror image, lefts and rights. This is a 1/2-inch shoulder bolt, and then this will get a piece of 1/2-inch seamless pipe to go over top of it. So that should work out well for that. What I've been working on now are the fenders, because I need the fenders and the spindles and the tires. Everything kind of goes together for this now. So I need all of that so I can actually get the hood just right.